Welcome back! Today, we are exploring a concept that sounds scary but is actually the key to a better life: stepping out of your comfort zone. We all love our routines and feeling safe, but what happens when we stay there too long?
The comfort zone is a psychological state where things feel familiar and stress is low. But the truth is, nothing ever grows there. It's like a warm bed. It feels great, but you can't move forward if you never get out of it. To truly reach your potential, you have to embrace the unknown.
Why is it so hard to break out? Why does our brain try to hold us back?
It's our survival instinct. Our brain looks out for danger. To your ancient brain, new equals scary. When you try to speak a new language or start a new hobby, your brain sounds the alarm. You have to learn to push through that fear and realize that discomfort is actually a sign of progress.
That's a powerful way to look at it. So, how do we start off? We don't have to jump into the deep end immediately, right?
Not at all. You can take baby steps. If you are shy, try to strike up a small conversation with a stranger. If you are afraid of failure, sign up for a class where you are a total beginner. The goal is to stretch your boundaries bit by bit. Every time you face a fear, your comfort zone expands.
I've noticed that people who step out regularly seem more confident.
Definitely. When you get through something difficult, you build resilience. You realize you can handle more than you thought. You stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on your own growth. It boosts your self-esteem in a huge way.
What is the payoff for all this mental effort?
Life becomes much more exciting. You stumble upon new opportunities and meet fascinating people. You open up doors that you didn't even know existed. Instead of just getting by, you start truly living. You become the protagonist of your own story.
I love that. It's about taking the lead in your own life.
Exactly. Don't let fear call the shots. Step out, take a breath, and see what the world has to offer. The best version of you is waiting just outside that circle.
But let's be real. After the initial excitement of stepping out wears off, it gets hard. How do we keep the momentum going?
You're hitting on a very important point. Motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going. When you step out of your comfort zone, you are using a lot of willpower. The problem is, willpower runs out like a phone battery. To succeed long-term, you have to automate your growth.
How do we do that? Especially when the new task feels awkward or difficult.
It's all about the habit loop, the cue, the routine, and the reward. If you want to stick with a new habit, like learning a language or volunteering at a shelter, you need a clear cue. For example, after I finish my morning coffee, I will practice 5 new words. Then, you need a reward, even if it's just a mental, "good job," to boost your mood.
Does this help with the fear part of stepping out?
Absolutely. When a challenge becomes a routine, your brain stops sounding the alarm. It moves from the scary part of your brain to the automatic part.
So, the goal is to make being brave a habit?
Exactly. If you make it a point to do one small, uncomfortable thing every day, you train your brain to handle uncertainty. You become someone who thrives on change instead of someone who hides from it.
I've noticed that when people reach this level, they start to look for even bigger challenges.
Yes, it's a positive cycle. Your comfort zone has expanded so much that things that used to freak you out are now easy. You gain a sense of freedom. You realize that you aren't locked in a cage. You were just standing behind a door that wasn't even locked.
Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do to protect your growth is to say no.
That is so true. People often think that stepping out means saying yes to every single request or opportunity. But if you take on too much, you'll quickly burn out. To have the energy to focus on your big goals, like learning a language, you have to set boundaries.
Why is it so hard for us to turn people down? We often feel like we are letting them down.
It's a social instinct. We want to be helpful and well-liked. We worry that saying no will mess up our relationships. But when you say yes to others just to be nice, you are often saying no to yourself. You run out of time for the things that actually help you grow.
So, saying no is actually a way to look after our mental health?
Exactly. Think about your energy like a budget. If you spend it all on things you don't care about, you have nothing left for your own needs. By saying no to the unimportant, you are clearing a path for the essential.
How can we get better at it without being rude?
You have to practice. Start small. You don't need to make up a long excuse. A simple, "I'd love to, but I don't have the capacity right now," is enough. It feels awkward at first. It's definitely outside your comfort zone, but it gets easier.
I've noticed that once you stand your ground, people actually respect you more.
They do! They see that you value your time. It shows that you are in control of your life. You stop drifting along with everyone else's plans and start taking the lead.
What is the payoff of mastering the art of the no?
You get your life back. You gain the freedom to stick with what matters. Instead of being busy, you become productive. You have the peace of mind to enjoy your coffee, walk your dog, or study your new words without feeling rushed.
Let's discuss launching a fitness journey. Too often, we set unrealistic goals and quit the moment it gets tough. What's the secret to making exercise a permanent lifestyle habit?
That's a classic problem. People often think they need to go all in from day one. They buy a gym membership, stock up on expensive gear, and try to work out for 2 hours. But your brain resists such a big change. To succeed, you have to trick your brain. Instead of a workout, call it a movement break. Start off by doing something so easy that you can't say no. For example, do 10 squats while you wait for your kettle to boil. This is how you lay the foundation for a strong habit.
I love that. It's about consistency over intensity. But what about when we feel self-conscious? Many people are afraid to show up at the gym because they think everyone is looking at them.
This is a major part of the fear zone. We think people are judging us, but in reality, everyone is focused on their own workout. You have to push through that initial awkwardness.
How does our physical health link up with our mental health?
They are inseparable. When you move your body, your brain releases endorphins, nature's mood boosters. It helps you burn off stress and cope with anxiety. Even a short walk helps you clear your head.
That's an interesting twist. So, the comfort zone isn't always laziness, it's just familiarity.
We've explored the fear, the learning, and the growth. But as we look ahead, there is one final question. How do we make this process of stepping out a permanent part of who we are? How do we master the art of self-evolution?
To master it, you have to let go of the idea of a final destination. Mastery isn't about reaching a place where you are perfect. It's about becoming a person who is always in motion. The most successful people in the world don't rest on their laurels. They realize that as soon as they master one skill, they need to seek out the next thing that makes them feel like a beginner again. This keeps your brain plastic and young. You have to be willing to be the worst person in the room so that you can eventually become the best.
Thank you for shining a light on the path of growth. You've given our listeners a real roadmap for their lives.
I hope our listeners feel ready to take that first step, no matter how small it is.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Step out, take a breath, and let the growth begin. Bye!